in his salvation. And then the very next line says, and he will wipe away tears from all faces, speaking to the nearness of his application of that salvation. The picture is of him holding faces individually, looking in the eyes, saying, no more, no more. Now, if we tried to figure all of that out, tried to find all the details and picture and map it all out, we would miss the point. And the point of this passage is given to us in verse 9, where it says, this is the Lord. We have waited for him. Let us be glad and rejoice in his salvation. The purpose of this feast is for gladness and rejoicing. God comes so that we can have fellowship with him and know the joy and the fullness of fellowship with him forever.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the second part of my birth story. My light is doing its own thing right now, and it's hilarious. Great. I was gonna use the natural light, but I was like, let me just add a little extra light. Cool. So I really wanted to get the second part of my birth story out because I noticed that the birth story video that I recently uploaded before this video had a lot of traction, a lot of traffic per se, and I think people were very interested in that story. Honestly, it was just so unexpected what had happened, and it really tested my faith in our Lord Jesus Christ, and I think it really honestly strengthened my faith, if anything. But I also didn't mention a few things because so much happened for me anyway. It was just very overwhelming. A lot of things took place. So I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. So I'll try not to look down too much, but I want to keep on track with this video of what I want to talk about, which is just a little more detail of my hospital experience and my birth experience. So y'all are probably wondering, and I'm sure mostly ladies are watching my videos, if you're expecting this will probably be more beneficial for you, but obviously anyone can watch this video. This is an informative video for anybody who is curious about the birthing experience, specifically about a birthing experience of someone who had preeclampsia and post-eclampsia. So there you go. So a little backdrop, I got preeclampsia at my 36-week OBGYN appointment. I talk a little more about that in my previous video and how I found out that I had preeclampsia, and I found out how serious it was that appointment today. And thankfully, all thanks be to God, that my husband was there with me and he had his day off. And so I was admitted that same day to the hospital, and my husband got to start his what is it called for fathers? Oh gosh, paternity leave. Yeah, so he got to start that. Wow, totally blanked on what that was called. I think he only got like a week for paternity leave, but he was able to get extra days on the books for it because we had a premature baby, and I obviously needed him home a little longer to just to help each other out with raising our daughter for that first couple weeks, right? But thankfully, also my husband's schedule, by working in the fire station, I don't know if you guys are familiar with firefighter schedule, but they kind of work like 1 or 2 days on, which means like a full 24-hour day shift, and then they usually get like 2 to 3 days off. So it's a great deal, honestly. So my husband actually works 1 day on and 2 days off, and if he wants to work overtime, he's able to do that as well. So yeah, it's definitely a little more flexible. Obviously, if you have to be at work, you have to be at work, unless you're like very sick or you're injured or something. But other than that, you have to be at your shift for 24 hours. So yeah, not too shabby. My air just turned off, so you probably could hear me better now. It's definitely hard some days when he's not here for a full day, but it's doable. It's not impossible. Anyway, back to the story. That was just a little backdrop and a little backdrop of my husband's work schedule, if you guys were interested at all about that. Okay, I wanted to talk briefly about the tearing and stitching of that whole experience. For tearing and stitching wise, I did have a 2nd degree tear, and I'm gonna be really honest with you. I don't know how big that tear of a 2nd degree tear is. I probably should have researched that before I came on this video, but I'm sure it's like probably 2 to 3 inches of a tear, maybe even less. I don't know. 2nd degree, I feel like 1st degree is like a minimal cut, and then 2nd degree is a little above a minimal cut, like a mild cut, and then like 3rd degree is like a severe cut. So basically tearing is from the vagina to the perineum, basically connected to like your anus. Sorry, TMI, but this is the birth experience. It's raw, unfiltered, it's real. Ladies, that's the birth experience for you. And honestly, when you're in the moment, you're not even caring about what's going on, because you're just in relief that it's done. So whatever they gotta do down there, you kind of just accept it pretty much. And so yeah, I tore a 2nd degree. The OBGYN was stitching me up while I was doing skin to skin with Ophelia, and honestly, I feel like it took a really long time for her to like finish stitching me up. It felt forever. Like, it really felt like a long time. So that's why I feel like in my head the cut was kind of like deep and long, because it just felt like she was down there for a while. I felt it really like minimally while she was stitching me up. It wasn't like super painful or anything, due to the fact that I was on magnesium and epidural, and honestly probably some other stuff I don't remember. Also, I did forget to mention that yes, I was induced the day before I gave birth, which was the 21st. My daughter was born on the 22nd at 1:49 p.m. We'll never forget that time now. But I was induced, so that means I was given Pitocin at some point. I couldn't tell you when I was given the Pitocin. Probably at some point on the 21st. Yeah, I was probably given the Pitocin to kind of speed up delivery and labor. So I was also on Pitocin. So my body was just on a lot of medicine in the hospital. Healing wise, for the stitching, it kind of took, I'd say it took in total for my stitching to heal, it took about like 6 to 7 weeks to like fully heal. So yeah, I feel like that's a little bit of a longer stretch. So yeah, 2nd degree tear, you probably want to avoid that, but obviously you don't really have too much control over tearing. It kind of happens if it's going to happen. In the hospital that I was at, they didn't really, not that they didn't believe in doing episiotomies. I'm probably saying that wrong, but that's when they kind of give you like a little cut, so there's room for a baby to exit out of the womb. But I was told that the hospital that I was at, that's like the last resort that they would take if baby was having issues coming out. I get an episiotomy, but again, I did tear, but I did not feel too much of that, and I was more so focused on baby on me and building that instant connection with my baby, which was a very, very beautiful thing. I'll put up a picture of skin to skin, and I kind of look, I feel like I look kind of glazed over or dazed because, again, I was on a lot of things in the hospital. So bear that in mind. But as you can see, I had a big old smile on my face, and it was just a really, really happy moment for me and my husband, obviously. And also my husband got to cut the cord, so that was fun for him. And he got to see, yes, he saw the whole birth. He held one leg while my labor and delivery nurse held my other leg, and they were both like guiding me. They were both guiding me to push, and there she was. She came 30 to 40 minutes later. Like, honestly, it took 30 to 40 minutes for her to like come earthside, but it felt faster than that. It felt so quick. Like, it just felt really quick. Like, it was taking a little while for me to like get in the groove of pushing. And then like all of a sudden I just felt like an immense amount of pressure from her head coming through. Yeah. Oh, speaking of heads, I didn't mention at my OBGYN appointment, when I found out that I had preeclampsia, that when they had the clamp inside of my vagina to check how dilated I was, you could see her head. So the nurse asked my husband if he wanted to see our daughter's head, and my husband doesn't get queasy about things like that, so he was like, yeah, let me see the head, and he was able to see her head. And I really, really wish like someone would have taken a picture, even though I don't know if that sounds weird or not, but I wanted to see the head. Like, that's so cool. So that was really awesome that like you could see her head already. Like, she was already breached down head first, and ready to make her debut 4 weeks early. Next thing that I want to talk about, I kind of want to talk more in detail, a little more about the postpartum recovery room. I was in the postpartum recovery room for a week, and my baby was in there with me, I'd say tops 2 days before she was sent to the NICU. And the cherry on top for her to be sent to the NICU was when they did her car seat test. So I think most hospitals do that, but babies need to pass a car seat test. And basically they just put an oxygen mask on your baby, have them sit in the car seat for like an hour and a half. And if they pass that, if they're able to keep their oxygen levels good, then they're able to go home, most likely the next day. So my baby did not pass her car seat test, and she was having trouble with her oxygen, and she was just too small for the car seat at the time. So at that point, they were wheeling her to the NICU, and I was able to see her before they wheeled her down to the NICU. It was a very bittersweet moment. I remember one of the nursery nurses that did her car seat test coming into the postpartum room. My mom was there with me, telling me how she was struggling a bit and how the plan was to take her to the NICU. And I just remember just feeling really defeated, y'all. I just felt really defeated, and I just started bawling my eyes out, and then my mom starts crying too, and it was really emotional. Yeah, it was just hard. You don't ever want your baby to be struggling ever, but you know that it's for the best that they go to the NICU, if they have to go to the NICU, to get stronger. So that was really hard. Again, she wasn't there for that long, and she graduated September 1st, and we were able to go to the hospital and pick her on up and take her home, and it was the greatest ride of our lives. And we were carefully driving. I was in the back seat, my husband was driving, and yeah, it was a really, really nice drive. I even have a picture, I'll put it up right now, of her like having the the biggest smile on her face while she was in the car seat driving home. And that was really special to see that. And it really, really warmed my heart so much. It was the best thing ever. I feel like, you know, she was probably like passing gas or peeing or something, but I just feel like she knew maybe deep down, like, hey, like, I'm about to go home with my family. Happy day, joyful day, you know? So it was really a special moment. And yeah, the postpartum recovery room was not fun, you guys. I literally, because I had preeclampsia and because I was a higher risk and my blood pressure was still high, I was being woken up, I'd say, I kid you not, for like the first couple of days, every hour, on the hour, getting checked, my blood pressure getting checked, my blood getting checked. So basically, when I tell you my left arm was just needle marks, okay? It was horrible. Being woken up like at like 2-3 in the morning to get a needle in your arm, check saline bags, to check the magnesium, check my blood pressure, to give me medicine, like a revolving door. Lactation nurses coming in, all these people, all these nurses, all these doctors coming in to check up on me. And you guys, I'm trying not to make it seem like I'm complaining about people doing their jobs, but it was frustrating. People kept telling me in the hospital to get rest, get as much rest as you can, this is the most rest you're gonna get. Like, no, honey, that is not the most rest you're gonna get. I didn't really get too much rest, honestly and truly. So yeah, I'm just being honest with you. Oh, my baby's starting to squirm. I was not able to rest as much as I really wanted to, because of that revolving door of nurses. You know, now looking back at it, they were doing their jobs. 100%. Yes, they were doing their jobs. Yeah, I just wish that I was maybe a little more bolder and saying, hey, just give me like one day and give me like 3 hours before you like check me or anything. Let me just get 3 hours of sleep, please. At least 2 to 3 hours, if that, because I literally could not get any consecutive amount of hours of sleep while in the postpartum recovery room. So yeah, that was pretty much, I mean, I guess one positive of that experience was that I was able to eat really well and for free, because it was covered by insurance and all that in the hospital, that you could get, I believe you can get, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but there was like a cutoff time from the hospital cafeteria. So most days I would call a number and they had a menu in the room, and it's basically like room service, but free room service. And the food was fairly decent, actually. It was pretty good. So that was a plus, I guess. And limited amount of water and ice from the nurses, and juices, sodas, apple sauces. So I was definitely well fed and well hydrated in the hospital for sure. Also wanted to talk about my LED nurse, my labor and delivery nurse. She was amazing. We actually kept in contact, and me and my husband really liked her, and we just all of us became really cool and really like friends during that time. And she even came to the postpartum recovery room to check up on me and to say hi. Like most L&D nurses don't, I would assume, don't come to the postpartum room for every patient that they have. So it was really cool that she wanted to see me and see how I was doing. And then like a few weeks after the hospital, she came over to our apartment and got to see Ophelia. That was really special. And I got to do her makeup. I'll put in pictures of her makeup that I did. But that was really fun. So that was a positive. That was another positive of the whole hospital experience. Like, do not take your labor and delivery nurses for granted. And also, if you have a labor and delivery nurse you're not happy with, speak up, say something, okay? Do not keep that in. And if you are really truly like terrified of saying something, have your husband say something. Have whoever's in the room with you say something so you can get the nurse that you need and that you deserve. And I was really, really blessed to have the labor and delivery nurse that we had. Really blessed. Okay, next thing, I guess, the last thing for hospital that I want to talk about is my milk supply. I briefly talked about that in the previous video, that thankfully I was able to produce milk. The first few days it was the colostrum, which is like the first milk, and that's like really powerful stuff for the baby that really helps boost their immunity really well. I don't know exactly like the actual details of colostrum, like the difference between colostrum and like your regular milk, but I know it's like just higher in potency of like immunity for the baby, that first milk. So I was able to produce that, and then I kept pumping pretty much every 2 hours. Every 2 to 3 hours, I was pumping in the hospital. The postpartum room came with a Medela pump right next to your bed. So, and they gave you all of the pump parts and everything, and you were able to keep all of the pump parts, but not the Medela pump machine. I ended up renting the pump machine from the hospital for about like a month and a half or so, for like a fee, because insurance covered it, but I just had to pay like a monthly fee for it, which was it was less than $200. But yeah, I did that. That Medela pump was really good. Just the only thing I didn't like about that pump was like the tubing would kind of get clogged up, and then it would like stop working, and so only like one half of it would work. Didn't really like that. So now I'm using the Lacinol, and that's been working just fine for me. That's also another wall pump, like the Medela. So yeah, my milk supply was coming in, and I literally, once my baby was in NICU, every time I would pump, not every time I would pump, I'd like go straight down, because I really couldn't just keep going back and forth down. Depending on my blood pressure, I wasn't able to just go every single time to the NICU to give my baby my milk. So I would have the nurses that were caring for me in the postpartum, I would have them bring it down to the NICU, or if my husband was there, I would have him bring it down, and then I would store it in the fridge right after I pumped, if I wasn't able to go right then and there. And then also just like by being aware of her feeding schedule in the hospital, I was able to kind of like figure that out with the times and all that. But yeah, most of the times I was definitely in the NICU, as much as I could be in the NICU, to feed her and to just, have her know our scents, and hold her as much as we could, change her diapers, get a lot of knowledge from the NICU nurses about parenting and like what we need to be doing, like just learning so much from the NICU nurses. And that's another thing. I really, really, really intend to like bring them gift basket and all that good stuff. Even though it's been 3 months. But I really, truly appreciate those NICU nurses for what they did for my baby. Without them, we wouldn't have her here. Really, really appreciate them. That is basically all. Like, that's officially all of my hospital experience. Part 2, that's it. that's all you guys get. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, if you guys have any more questions, let me know down below in the comments, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that I can answer. Now I want to get to what I've been using postpartum that's been helping with my milk supply, other than eating well and staying hydrated. Super, super important if you guys want to like boost up your milk supply or keep your milk supply at a good state that it is in. You need to be eating frequently, because as you pump, you're exerting a lot of energy. So that's why you get like more hungry or more thirsty after you pump. So my suggestion on that is to either eat fairly well before or eat fairly well afterwards, even if it's like a little snack or something, but something to fill you up. And also stay hydrated while you're pumping. Drink a lot of water while you're pumping, or just have water nearby you so you can drink that water while you're pumping. Staying hydrated is going to help with your milk supply. Now, I just ordered my second batch of this, but this is gonna last you a while. This lasts me 2 months. I got this in, I'm gonna say, the second or third week in September, and we're in December now, and I still have like, I'm gonna say I have about like 10 to 15 left of these, and you can take 1 to 4 daily. This is sunflower lecithin. I can never say that second word. And it literally just emulsifies your milk in your breast, and it helps to prevent clogging, and it helps to release any clogs that you may already have. And when I tell you that this stuff actually does work, it does work. You have to give it a little minute to let it like get used to your body. But I'm telling you, this stuff is godsend. Like, if you want to keep your milk supply, you need sunflower lecithin. I don't know about that fenugreek stuff or that mother's milk tea. I have the mother's milk tea. I rarely drink it, I'm going to be honest with you. But this is something that it's out on my counter in the kitchen, and I see it, and I take one almost every morning. I at least minimum will take 2 a day, but I've been recently taking 3 just because during the night I'm not waking up anymore to pump, just so I can give myself more rest, because that's another thing, you guys. Rest is important for your milk supply. Rest. Even though with a little baby it's hard, but you gotta try, mamas, to get your rest. It's not only important for milk supply, but it's also important for your mental and your spiritual and your physical health. So yeah, trust me, I know it's hard, but you gotta try and you gotta do it. Honestly, truly, if you can sleep when your baby is sleeping, I would try to do that. Even if it's just like an hour, that's still rest. Even 30 minutes, at least 30 minutes minimum. If you can get 30 minutes in during the day of like a nap in with your baby, I would do that. But yeah, during the nighttime, I'm prioritizing my sleep more, because when I am lacking sleep, I am not the best person to be around, honestly and truly, for myself and for others. So, and especially for my baby. So rest is something that I'm trying to prioritize a little more now. So I'll just skip that 1 pump in the middle of the night. So technically, when I would be waking up around like 2 or 3 in the morning to pump, I'm skipping that pump now, and I'm sticking to 6 to 7 pumps throughout the day, and that's enough for a baby to have her milk, because she's currently eating 4 to 4.5 ounces right now. So that is her supply, and that is what I'm trying to keep up with, right? By pumping. So, and I usually pump 2 to 3 hours. It just depends on how full my breasts are feeling. So next thing is this Postnatal Plus. This is a new product, actually. I've only been using this for a few days, so I'm not gonna give you like 100% go on this, but so far so good. It says complete multivitamin for nursing moms and their babies, supports lactation, and it has a whole bunch of all the vitamins that you need for postpartum. This one does suggest that you take it with a meal. So usually after I eat my first meal of the day, then I will take this. It's called Postnatal Plus, and I got this on Amazon, and they're made in the USA. And the good thing about this one that I really like is that you only have to take one capsule. So instead of taking your normal like 2 capsules for any vitamin that you usually have, this one you only need to take 1 a day. So I really like that. I really don't like to have to take so many pills at one time. So having to only take 1 capsule is really nice and helpful. So this is what I'm taking for postnatal vitamins and all that stuff. So that's it. Now I will mention that I was taking some allergy medicine. I ran out of it recently, non-drowsy allergy medicine, because it was more prominent like a few weeks ago, but I was getting like these hive breakouts on my legs and my arms, and kind of literally like all over my body except for like my face and my chest or my feet. But everywhere else I was like getting like hive breakouts, and I never got that before. So I'm assuming that is due to postpartum hormones and me just like still leveling out, even though it's been 3 months. Yeah, I've been told that postpartum can take a while for you to kind of just like balance out again. So I haven't had any like really bad flare-ups as I had before, so that's good. But I haven't been taking my allergy medicine, so we'll see how it goes. I've also changed my body wash because that also can contribute, like whatever like lotions and washes you're putting on your body, right? You could be just more sensitive to it postpartum now. Guys, that's the video. Another long video, and I will be sure to put those timestamps down below in the description so you guys can skip around if you don't want to watch the whole video. Probably should have mentioned that in the beginning, but that's fine. You guys can figure it out, right? I know you guys can. That is officially my birth story, and I wanted to just share some goodies with you guys so I'm not hogging all the good stuff. Okay, I want to share the good stuff. Yes, that's my mannequin head that I haven't touched in a while, and I need to be practicing like on my downtime. Like I'm making this video, I have the time while my baby's sleeping to get to work on that mannequin head so I can learn more. Also, I've applied for beauty school. Mother's actually gonna come down and help us out with baby. And you know, she offered. So God is good. Okay, God is good, y'all, and I'm really excited. It was a really good time going in to apply for school. It felt really good to do it. So I will be starting beauty school in late January, and that is going to be my life for the next year, is going to beauty school and learning all things beauty. So I'll definitely be bringing you guys along, because how exciting. And you know, if any of you are interested in beauty, you get to experience that, and I hopefully the videos will inspire you to get out there and be creative, whether it be beauty or anything in the art world. It doesn't have to be beauty. I hope to inspire you guys with the videos that are soon to come. So yeah, that's it for the video, you guys, and thank you again for all of the support, all of the support. God bless you guys. Stay in the word, stay in prayer, and I will see you in the next video.